Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show.
Olá Bom Dia ALEGRIA, Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast. Still with a slightly poorly voice, but we should be okay. We've got Veronica joining us at 8:20 and Carl Hyde, our English gentleman in Lisbon, joining us at around 8:40, that sort of time. So it looks like we made it. How are you doing this morning? I thank you for updates from around the country. Our mate Bobby O'Reilly seems to be trapped in at the Herdad de Mayo, 30 or 40 trees over there on the estate. Sadly, at both ends of his street at the moment. So that's going to be quite annoying for him. He's usually at his desk and at work by 5 in the morning, I think. So he's had to take it a little bit of a different approach to the day today. All the best to you, Bobby, down there in the Margem Sul de Mayo as well. And a picture in from Mel as well this morning. I'm seeing two things here. I am seeing a fallen tree, courtesy of Storm Martinho, but I'm also seeing spring sunshine. I think that's something else that has happened in the last 24 hours, or has just happened, right? The spring equinox. We are officially into springtime. It feels like it actually, as I look out the window here. It's very spring-like outside, as that picture tells us there, not too far away from this part of the Silver Coast. Thank you, Mel, for that. Any other pictures, send them in on 913-590-303. Tony Bryant, however, the Portugueser, aka the Portugueser, doesn't think it's over yet, I think, or he's just had his crayons out. This is very pretty, Tony, this colouring in that you've sent me this morning. I've got a feeling Tony doesn't think it's over yet. Look at that. Thursday 20th, that was, 6 this morning? Is that right? If I'm reading windy.com correctly. Again, I'm seeing two things. I'm seeing pretty colours. Tony's had his crayons out. And a rare use of the white pencil as well. I'm also seeing an evil rabbit, but it's a spring bunny. Is that the spring bunny trying to show itself through Storm Martinho? I think it is. Does that look like a rabbit to you? Or did I have a bad prawn or a strange mushroom or something along those lines? How are you this morning? Anyway, we'll go to Safe Communities Portugal's coverage of what's been going on through the night. A lot of trees have fallen down and some damage to buildings. I think human life, all is well and good as far as I am aware. So thank heavens for that. It was quite the build-up yesterday. It really was. And let's see who's in this morning. Sarah, good morning to you. Lovely to see you. Again this morning, Deagle, Bom Dia Carl and Gumpers. Everyone's safe after the storm. I think so, Deagle. We made our preparations. We set up networks and lifelines, and it all seems to be well. It's good to be able to test all that sort of stuff. It would appear everybody's well this morning. Frightening, the pictures and videos. Let's pray it's the last named storm of winter. 24-25. Yeah, indeed. Mr. Sun better visit soon. It's true. Mr. Sun is on its way, his way. And I think that means with 300 days of sunshine here, it means probably that all the rest of the days of the year are going to be sunny. It's maths. Bon dia, Carl. It's science and maths, everybody. Follow the science. Bon dia, Carl and Gumpers from the 3 degrees Belfast last 2 nights. The grit mem were out as ground frost was occurring. So the grit has been out. Be a stunning 14 degrees today. Good for you. And dry till Monday. Excuse me. See, my voice not quite right yet. Be over, and I ate my cornflakes too fast. Be over 3 full weeks. No rain in Belfast. We'll have a host party band soon. Crazy, isn't it? Coach Turner. Bom dia, Gumpers, e feliz quinta, tudo bem? Another nice day here at Hertfordshire. So off for a walk shortly, then training and coaching this afternoon. Enjoy your day, everyone. Cheers, Coach. Great start to the Wednesday Interconnect. Pete was on alongside Terence Austin. And who else was on that screen? Bob Wenger was on there as well, wasn't he? Last night, and Lee McGrady. Very happy with my polytunnel construction. Okay, very good. So your polytunnel took the storm well by the sound of it, Pete. Good to see you. Bon dia to you. Bon dia, Portugal. From you as well as João Ernesto de Norte. Anna, Sweden, Portugal, still in Stockholm, arriving Portugal on Saturday again. I've started a new feature over at the Portugal Club Thank you very much, Laura from Italy. I just reminded me, with you being from Sweden, Anna, we've started the first of our Your Portugal Journey profiles. We're building those over at the Portugal Club, and it's really nice to have a closer look at how people got here and what they love doing here now that they are here. So thank you very much, Laura. You're the first. If anybody wants to help me with one of those profiles, let me show you very quickly. We've also got a Munson's mailbag. Mrs. Goggins from the United Kingdom has been in touch again. Look, here's Laura. There's just some simple questions. It's really nice to compare notes and makes it easier for people who are coming our way as well. Where you're from? Why did you choose Portugal? Fukushima comes up in Laura's profile there. Yeah, Fukushima to you too. Who did you use to help you migrate? Where do you live and why? Did you buy your house? What have you bought in terms of transport? What do you do for transport? How would you rate your quality of life, your health and well-being, your social life? What do you do or not do in Portugal? A few of your favorite things, places, experiences, food and drink. How do you relax or keep busy? Do you call yourself an expat, an immigrant, or a foreigner? Not bothered by any of these labels, says Laura. And are you happy here? The big question, would you recommend Portugal? Any regrets? How do you cope in the dark times? Some great answers from Laura. Thank you very much. You can see that for yourself if I put the link there. Pop over, gmpvip.com for that if you want to read more, if you're a Portugal Club member. If you're not, what are you waiting for? Sign up. Free weeks trial on that. So yes, a Munson's mailbag to come. I think we should do Safe Communities Portugal's coverage of what went on last night as well. After we've made sure we've heard all of your comments this morning. Seeing that Tree tells me that our spring is still a long way away. No leaves yet. Coach. No leaves on the tree. That is one of those vital signs, is it not? Power is out. What? So watching via internet. Grateful for small miracles. We didn't get an outage here. We often do. But maybe that new contactor or whatever it was that was put in last week after it fried in the earlier rain may have been helpful. I don't know. Bon dia from Mel, whose picture we showed earlier on. Nothing much happened up here, just a bit of a fizzle. Yeah, right. A damp squib with the emphasis on damp. Bom Dia ALEGRIA from T-Duck. Morning to you, mate. And lost electricity here for a while, but most of the neighborhood in good shape. Heather Binder, boots on the ground, Portugal. She had her power out a couple of times last night. Wind was wild, though, so it sounds like a lot of local grids. And yes, Gary did put on a great show last night. It was good, wasn't he? Even if it took Lee to point out that we were not live initially. Oh, all the best material happens when you think you're live and you're not. I speak from bitter experience. Right, let's have a look then at around the country. Thank you for your news. Let's see what Safe Communities Portugal. What? My spring is far away. I should never have taken the back off my watch. Oh, hey, thank you very much there, T-Duck. Yes, come on, more of that. More dad jokes, please. Yes, where did all the dad jokes go? We didn't honor Portugal's Father's Day yesterday, did we, with any dad jokes? That was a grave omission. Took me by surprise, actually. That was part of it. Okay, let's go to Safe Communities Portugal then. And tell you that Storm Martinho, 1,000 occurrences. That sounds like a poem, doesn't it? It sounds like Camões, 1,000 occurrences. And at least, he was a pirate, and at least one serious injury. So sorry to hear about that, but nothing more serious than that, thankfully. The train from Setúbal to Lisbon, crossing the 25 de Abril bridge, is not running, or it wasn't at, 45 minutes ago. And the train from Cascais to Lisbon, also not running. Trees on the line, perhaps. Until 1 this Thursday. Okay, so is that 1 o'clock this morning, just gone 7 hours ago? I guess it must be right. Civil Protection recorded 994 incidents related to bad weather. So a few more incoming, perhaps, in mainland Portugal, with emphasis on falling trees and structures, mainly in the metropolitan Lisbon area. Interestingly, the most affected areas were the metropolitan Lisbon region, where 294 occurrences were recorded, followed by the Leiria and Coimbra regions, which totaled 104 occurrences each. The west zone of the country is also one of the most affected. Hold on a minute. They're all the most affected here so far, with a total of 102 occurrences, mainly affecting the municipalities of Torres Vedras, Sobral de Monte Grosso, Carnaval, and Lourinhã. According to the same source, of the total number of incidents, more than half correspond to falling trees at 544, with 304. Sorry, let me do that again. With 354 falling structures and 68 road clearing interventions. In the municipality of Sintra, a person was seriously injured due to a falling tree yesterday afternoon, and we hope they're feeling better. They're being taken care of, and all is improving with them. In Oliveira do Hospital, in the parish of Nogueira de Cravo, the roof of a football stadium collapsed. According to authorities, there are no reports of victims, but the damage is considerable. Oliveira do Hospital. So the Portuguese might be popping down there to take a look. The coverage fell on at least 5 vehicles. Okay, I think the coverage, that is the roof itself they're talking about. The number of occurrences and the type of damages will increase for sure. They are saying there, look, and a couple of pictures there. Wow. Okay. Thank you, Safe Communities Portugal, for that update. And Portuguese is indeed here. The Nogueira de Cravo football stadium lost its roof. Thank you very much. Great minds thinking alike there. Pam also in this morning. Bon dia to you. Larry, Tados being back. Tados being back in Sam. You're here. Amazing. Did you fly in last night? Brave fellow. That football stadium really did raise the roof. Not too soon, Peter. And patches of blue sky breaking through here. Spring is on its way. Oh, and your toupee blew off. I am so sorry to hear that, Portuguesa. I should have asked Nunu yesterday if there is a toupee replacement. If you pay part of it, or you get a complete toupee exchange with certain insurance plans. Talking of that sort of thing, I wonder if you can help me with this. I'm not sure I can answer these questions. It's Munson's mailbag. The bulging sack, everybody, is back. And we have got some questions for you this morning. What about medication and prescriptions for over 60s? Not something I have to worry about, not for a few months anyway. And generally speaking, I don't think I've ever got a prescription here in Portugal. What about medication? Yeah, for my mother. I went and collected something for my mother, like a schoolboy. We get free prescriptions in the UK. Is there a plan or discount for elderly folk, please? Your answers on that, if you will. And yes, some of those medical plans, not insurance plans, but what are they called? Medical discount schemes, do get you a discount on your medications, and I think they are relatively inexpensive. Obviously not as cheap as getting free stuff in the UK, but certainly compared to the US, I think medications are a whole lot cheaper. And would opening a Portuguese bank account in advance be wise, and can they be opened from the UK, please? My understanding of that, not that I've tried to do that, I did open my own bank account here with Millennium BCP, and then another with Urabic, which is now, what is it now? Blue Avat. Anyway, it's changed. Their branding is so good. I can't even remember the new name. I know what it looks like, but no, I really can't remember. I just keep calling it Urabic. So is it wise to open a bank account in advance? It's good to have a Portuguese bank account. You are going to need one, certainly for your visa process if you're doing one. And they say you can open a UK. Is it Millennium? I think Millennium might have and Santander say they have branches, or people say they have branches in London, for example. But I'm not sure that counts as a Portuguese bank account. Please, if you are in that condition to help this person, Mrs. Goggins in the UK, please do let me know in the chat. That'll be awesome. Right. Oh, Hugh in Visu. Morning, no power in our area. Best wishes from Hugh and Jane. It sounds like you're not too panicked by that, and you're prepared from previous outages, presumably. Candles are lit. Goodness only knows you've got enough wine bottles there to put candles in, right, Hugh? A few empties knocking about, and the candles were blazing, I suspect. Excuse me. Oh, we'll bring Veronica on in a moment, and she can help me out and do a bit of the talking here. Who has the job of counting all those incidents and fallen trees and structures, etc.? It's probably the Bombeiros network, is it not? But there will be a central control room somewhere, won't they? That's taking all that data in and totting it all up. To answer your question there, João Ernesto, that would be my guess. Bom dia, campus from James. Feliz quinta a todos, como va todos. Went to the cinema last night. Was hard to walk home in the wind, you devil. What did you see, Pam? What did you see? Do you know what? I watched Chariots of Fire yesterday. I had a William Blake binge the night before, listening to Jerusalem and finding out a story, pretty much dying penniless. Isn't it sad to know that Jerusalem, as the poem of William Blake that was then set to music by Hubert Parry, he didn't enjoy the success of that. It was only in later times that we really know, or those of us who do love that, Jerusalem, and the incredible lyrics and the poetry brought to life of William Blake. He didn't get to enjoy that himself. But what an interesting chap to find out more about a couple of nights before. And of course, Chariot of Fire led me to watch the movie of that name yesterday. And my goodness, 1981. It was like I was 16 when that film came out. And I think I went to see it with mates at the cinema. And I was taken right back there. It was incredible. And aren't certain portrayals of British people so absolutely posh? It was wonderful seeing Chariots of Fire and the rather common Scottish fellow who joins them as well. Brilliant. The Chariots of Fire. Recommend it. But I'm sure you didn't go see Chariots of Fire last night, Pam. No elderly discount on medications that I know of. But as I've been told, all medications are regulated by the government, so prices are very low. Spreadsheet in it. What? You're using a spreadsheet instead of a toupee? The film, or is that the name of the film? Spreadsheet in it. Is that the story of a gang who go into accountancy and it's called Spreadsheet in it? I don't know. The film went off briefly due to the storm. Was it a drive-in or was it actually, were you inside? Or did people boo? If that had happened in the UK, people would be booing. I'm sure the polite Portuguese were not booing. They probably all tried to help. In fact, I lost a tree on the land, on the hill, lost a tree or three on the hill, and a lot of stuff was blown off our shelves in the middle, but need an hour walk to really look at the land. You've got shelves. That doesn't sound very convenient. Pass the jam, Diane, will you? Oh, I've got to go walk half an hour to get it off the shelves. What? Suddenly I hear, nah, I don't know. That's not happening for me. I'm not sure. Is that? Is that what you're singing there, James? A bit of Vangelis. The music in Chariots of Fire is pretty amazing as well. It's got some real interesting synthesizer sounds in there. 1981. Oh, I see. A spreadsheet in it to count the incidents. Thank you. Prescriptions here are awesome. Here you go, Mrs. Goggins. Especially you live in the outback. We got 6 months worth for a very low price, far cheaper than the UK. Bulk buying his pile cream there. So yes, it sounds like it's very good value. Jackie, Bon Dia Campus. Morning, Jackie. How are you this morning? My apartment faces the ocean, says Mr. S. And it's on the 6th floor with sliding doors to the balcony. It sounds like an estate agent listing. And this is the living area with sliding doors to the balcony. The wind and showers woke me up at midnight. The noise was frightening. Yeah, it was pretty scary, wasn't it? The sound. Well done, Gary. Garvo's here now. Mostly all okay here, except all the patio furniture is piled up by the fence. Sounds very British. The white plastic chairs pushed over by nature. Disaster. Right. Okay. Well, glad to hear everyone is relatively okay then. We did jokes in the chat club on Tuesday. Here's one. That's hilarious. Actually, I don't understand it. Qual é o contrário de paixão? Okay, you're going to have to help us out a little bit with that one, Pam, if you don't mind. But here's the joke. Qual é o contrário de paixão? Okay, that is, we're waiting for a punchline to come in on that, if you will. Thank you very much for that, Pam, this morning. Okay, by way of an intro, and she's created her own intro this morning. Great work, Veronica. We will play this and talk to you after. So let me find it. Here it is. Let's talk to Veronica after this.
Good morning, Portugal. What a beautiful, beautiful morning over the river. We had quite the storm hit for a little bit last night. Wind, and it's beautiful and sunny again. Here's the East Algarve, the river leading to the ocean. And I guess we're going to get a little bit more rain today at 4. But looking across the river at Ayamonte, Spain. What a beautiful morning. Beautiful morning. We've definitely had more rain this year than in the past. Definitely had some rain this winter, which we needed. And then they even opened up the reservoirs yesterday. But good morning. What a glorious morning.
Oh, thank you
Good
so much.
morning.
Hey, Veronica, that was so lovely. The sound of the wood pigeon. It's spring, isn't it?
Is that what it is? It's a wood pigeon?
Yes, I think so. That's what it sounds like to me. That's the sound I grew up with. It's a British bird sound, and lovely to hear. Very calming, and yeah, it certainly did something nice for me, and is adding to my illusion that spring is here. Are you not familiar with that sound?
Well, I didn't know if it's a dove or I know I had them back in California, but I never knew what it was.
It's a
And
wood
then
pigeon.
just the other day, a falcon went and landed right in front of me, big, beautiful one. And his eye was just watching me. I didn't want to move because I didn't want it to leave my window. So I was kind of talking to it and it was just watching me and kind of nodding. And I'm like, hey,
Really?
this is cool.
That is fantastic, isn't it? I thought you were going to say for a moment you were admiring a dove, and then a falcon came down and had lunch in front of you.
Could have. I mean, he was
Oh,
looking down right here. He's looking down until I started talking to him. Then he was eyeballing me. But then, so I think he may have been looking for lunch.
yeah, right. So, how are you? Lovely to see you this morning, and some lovely feedback. I don't know if that's probably for you and your video. That's Deagle either saying, "Look, that's stunning Veronica right there," or "That's stunning Veronica." Let's take both of those. Let's take both of those this morning. Hey, how are you doing?
Hey.
That was so. Thank you for sharing that with us.
At my age, you know what? We take any compliment,
take
whether
it,
it's
yeah, we'll
intended
take
or not. Just
Oh,
say
it's true.
thank you and
It's true.
smile.
And it's lovely to see you. So, what have you been up to in this last month since we saw you? And Morocco was fresh in your mind last time, wasn't it?
Yeah. So no monster trips, just little trips around here locally, lots of biking when the sun comes out because we've had a lot of rain this year, right? I'm sure, you're talking about it every day, but
Oh, yeah.
a lot of biking. It's so beautiful up in the hills here. We had the bike race, the Volta do Algarve.
Oh, yes. And on the first day, they took the wrong turning, didn't they?
They did, but it goes
Yeah.
across the whole Algarve. So we make fun of Portimao. I think Portimao, they actually redirected them incorrectly, right? So then they had
Yes,
to.
right. That's right. They like one lot forked off in a different direction. And I felt sorry for the winner because obviously he'd rode his heart out to get his position. And it was just abandoned, wasn't it? That first leg, it wasn't counted.
Well, I read some of the news for a while and then they said they were going to count it and they weren't. And, it's like, what do you do? I mean, you messed up, but there's really no way to fix it because some
Yeah.
people really did win. Some people went the wrong way, but it was their fault. I mean, I don't know, but it's beautiful. So enjoy the ride, right?
And you saw it come through. Has it made it to your part of town? Or it's
Oh,
that's
yeah.
come and
So
gone? Come and gone.
Yeah, that's come and gone. That's all done within a week. They do it every day. So the day they came to here, it was like 6 hours, 8 hours of riding, something crazy. They started in our town. I made a clip. Did I not send you the clip? I think I forgot.
Possibly. I'll have a little wind back through and see if we've got that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And then I also put it on. I'm trying to do Instagram. It's really hard for my old peanut brain. I'm trying to do Instagram.
Well, tell me about that. Let's talk about Instagram for a moment. The software that I use for streaming the show, after the show says, "Do you want some AI clips?" I'm like, "Well, okay." It's like free peanuts in a bar, isn't it? Go ahead. Yeah, I'll have some of those, or lupin beans, to use the local equivalent. And then it cuts all these things up, and some of them are actually quite good, and it's got better over time. And then I get the chance to share them on various platforms. I'm happy to do that on Facebook and on YouTube. And there's an Instagram button as well. And I do it. But I'm not sure that anything good comes of it, and I never look at Instagram. I don't enjoy it as a service. Do you?
No, I think it's our demographic, and it's so quick.
Yes.
And then when I go to someone's page and I can't figure out, like on Facebook, you go to their page and you can see what they've posted. So you're like, oh, I haven't talked to so-and-so for a while. Let me go check in, see what they're up to. And you see who's graduated, who's had a birthday, all that fun stuff. Here, it's just like quick. Stories disappear in a day. I'm like, why would you make a story that disappears in a day? What's the point?
Yes.
Like, so I have to look at it now or get lost. Like,
Exactly. Yes. FOMO keeps you there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's hijacking the younger and the kids, and everything has to be fast. Like, and so I do have a little editor and I edit it. And to me, it's just like, like just mental chaos versus maybe it's us and our age demographic. And then the people we're talking to, we kind of want this. We want like, just hang out, grab a coffee, have a chat,
Take it
hopefully
easy.
meet in person to humans someday.
Monday, yes, that would be nice too. Yeah, okay, so it's not just me then. Okay, are there any? If there are Insta fans, do let us know what the attraction is and how Veronica and I can get some better value from it, if you don't mind. Yeah, the morning doves, I think, is what you would call them, and whether they are like bereft or the time of the day morning is yet to be decided. Two different spellings. And that bird is definitely common in the US as well. And you quite often see birds disappear in a puff of feathers around here, probably the work of the villainous sparrow. No word. Okay. And Pam saw the Bridget Jones movie. Have you been to the cinema here recently, Veronica?
I think the last time was about 6 months ago, and they are beautiful cinemas. I mean,
Yes,
in
right.
Tavira and Mars Shopping, big, beautiful seats, drink holders, cozy, cushy, beautiful, great. I even saw Bohemian Rhapsody there, which you had to see to get all the Dolby, speakers, surround
Yes,
sound
that's great.
stuff.
Yes,
That was great.
indeed. And the wind was frightening. Mamma mia, mamma mia. A little reference, Queen for the second time. No, it is a lovely. Yes, very good. It is a lovely experience going to the cinema here, and they don't get their panties in a bunch if you take your own food in, as they do in the UK. Saw a
Why would you take your own food? The whole reason to go there is to get hot, fresh popcorn from that you can only get in the movie theater.
It's not either or. It's not either or.
It's not either or.
We've got our picnic. No, do you know what?
You're in there having a hamburger and a.
That's right. I think British people do it because they're so upset about the past of not being able to do it. When you go to a country where you can just get something and walk in and eat it and no one cares, it's probably a habit that I should maybe give up now. But people wear overcoats into the cinema in the UK in the summer. With bags of sweets sewn into the lining so that you don't have to pay extortionate prices at the front. And there's the thing, the prices aren't extortionate in Portugal, are they? To either see a movie or to buy the popcorn or a hot dog or whatever it is you want.
No. And pro tip, if you do have NOS, a lot of the movie theaters are owned by NOS or NOS. They're connected to a lot of the shopping centers, so you'll get free internet. But then they also, in their app, if you look at it, they have 2-for-1 movie passes. And I mean, I think we did a matinee for the movie Popcorn, 2 people, and beautiful theater, big buckets of popcorn for like €7 or €8.
Whoa, that sounds like a good afternoon out, doesn't it? And yes, and the films are showing all day as well, aren't they? So you don't have to stay up late. You can be in bed by nightfall if you want to after a busy day like that. Don't worry about the bad weather. My black redstart birds are back nesting. Another sign. Want more signs like this, please? We've had Mel's tree picture, which was, I think, a sign of spring. More signs of spring. 91359. Look at spring sunshine. Looks like a British suburb there. That's really beautiful. Don't worry, though, about the bad weather. My black redstart birds are back nesting, and that can only mean one thing. Spring is on the way. That is fantastic. Thank you for that reminder there, Garvo. Yes, please, photographs of spring. We need those right now. I went to the movie theater in Oregon once where they made pizzas and other stuff, and the seats had bench tables. Yes, I went to a movie theater in Florida that was like that, and you could have beer and food in front of you while you're watching. Very nice. Good idea.
Southern California, you can order from your tray table when you go to those high-end ones, and they'll bring you alcohol. It's like sitting in a bar and restaurant, and they
Isn't that a great idea? Yes, lovely idea. There you go. Is that a sign of spring? Medley of emojis. We'll take it as such.
Hi, Solar Life.
Right, you're going to give us a little bit of a property vignette. There's no slowing down in this property market here in Portugal, is there, Veronica?
No. And again, we talk about this. You, I, and the other Carl. Hello, Carl. Soon. Over and over and over. We say, don't try to time the market. Everybody still does it. I hear it over and over. And this is where I'm putting on my mom hat and saying, don't do this, because if it's right for you now, you can live in it for 10 years. That's a full real estate cycle. You're not looking to just, double or triple your money. It's the place you want to live. Then you move there. You don't do it because you're trying to make some investment. Your home is not, well, it is an investment, but your home is not meant to be flipped. It's meant to be lived in. And there are fees here and taxes. And unless you have a business, You're not saying, oh, well, if I buy it now, then it'll go up, 30% next year. Are you selling next year? Well, then you have a bad idea because you're still going to lose money probably. So
Yes.
I sent you that little clip, and it was that the property prices just last month, well, you're seeing all of them here too, but the property prices have gone up significantly. I mean, we've got, let me pull up the stats because again,
This is just
numbers
the Portugal
always.
resident reporting here. Up
Mhm.
13.6 in February, and going forward, they're thought to keep rising in Portugal, set to continue throughout 2025, according to Confidencial Imobiliario. I guess you need to understand the agendas of the companies that are releasing such information, but I cannot rule out March seeing prices going up at an even higher rate, said Ricardo Guimarães, director of Confidencial Immobiliario. I said it okay the first time.
Immobiliario.
Immobiliario.
If you read it, you can't say it. You just have to
Yeah,
like
that's
do it
right.
from your
Yeah, I
brain.
forced myself second time. I should emphasize that this rate of appreciation is taking place for properties whose values are already very high, says Senor Guimarães. What else? What have you got there, Veronica?
So what I did was I did that little compilation, and I did it from Confidential Immobiliario.
Yeah.
I did it from Fortune magazine. I did it from Salvalis Research. I did
Yes.
it from Bloomberg. I did it from Morningstar, which is in America the big one we use for trading news. And then the actual statistics that come out, you can go to websites from the government with statistics. And here's kind of a fun, I have a serious one we can link afterwards, but this one was kind of what I made kind of fun. Looking for a sunny spot in Europe to call home? Join the queue. Portugal's housing market is on fire in 2025, and prices just keep climbing up, up, up. Think of Portugal's real estate market like your favorite beach during summer break. Everyone wants a spot, but there's only so much sand to go around. So prices jumped nearly 3% in just 1 month in February, and they're almost 14% higher than last year.
Yes.
Why so hot? Simple math. Too many buyers chasing too few houses. So even though Portugal closed its golden visa real estate path in 2023, which used to let foreign wealthy kind of people buy their way into residency, the international buyers still can't get enough of these stunning coastlines, charming cities. And Lisbon's become such a fancy property superstar that now its neighborhoods cost more than similar spots in Berlin, Madrid, and Amsterdam.
Yes.
So that's right. Little Portugal is outpricing some major European capitals. So the government's trying to help people who were priced out, promising to build around 50,000 new homes and offering special loan guarantees for young buyers. But builders are saying not so fast. Construction costs are through the roof, and new homes won't appear overnight. So the average home in mainland Portugal now costs about 2,630 euros per square meter. That's around 244,000 for a typical 93 square meter apartment. And that's including the inland, right? That's, an average. So if you want something new, that'll be about 3,760 euros per square meter. So if you've been dreaming of that Portuguese pied-à-terre overlooking the Atlantic, you might want to jump in soon. But again, I say don't time the market, but still it's now or never kind of mentality. But again, if you're not ready, you're not ready. And speaking to last week and the current articles we put out, you need to plan, do your homework, dip your toe in, make sure it's right for you, and then make sure that this is the place for you and it's your kind of forever place, or at least 10-year place.
Yeah, right. Are you seeing any kind of slowdown in interest as a result of these rising prices? Like people saying it's just too expensive. I'm not bothering in Portugal. It's just got too expensive.
No, because I think the buyers that I cater to are looking for quality of life, and they're not looking for cheap, cheap, cheap. And there's only one big company I know and maybe 2 bloggers that are still promoting this is the cheapest place in the world to live. And it's not. It might be one of the lower cost in Europe, but it's not cheap. You can go to Mexico, Ecuador, there's Belize, there's Panama, there's all these other places in the world. If you're just like, I've got, $2,000 a month and that's all I've got, and I want to buy a place and buy a car and go out to dinner every day. It can be unrealistic. And so who I have are a lot of retirees who are selling their home there, and they've owned it most of their life, so they can take the equity, the cash, and buy here.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So not a slowdown in that part of the market. And yes, no timing the market. No timing the market, please. Mama Realtor. How about that as a brand?
Mama mia.
Mama Realtor. Use your
Yes.
imagination to see the pointing finger there. And yes, just going back briefly, we're toing and froing between cinema experiences and the real estate market here in Portugal. One of the places I miss in the US was the Alamo Theatre. Oh, are these your new articles as well? Fantastic. We'll mention those too.
No, we have to go to pizza. I just had to remember to do that.
It was the Alamo Theatre where you could order food from your assigned seat. Always got a carnivore pizza. I'm guessing that might have been what became the meat feast, perhaps there. You can't even get a drink or any food in our cinema. There is a bar upstairs, but I haven't seen it open in the 10 years.
Where are you at, Pamela? Where are you at? We need to find a better cinema.
Yeah, it's the medieval cinema as used by Pedro and Inês, I think, there. And yeah, well said on your earlier comments, Veronica. Life is for living. You can't take it with you when you go. Yeah. The upside, it's a $5 to get in. I think that's not life, but the cinema. It doesn't cost you a $5 to get in.
Portugal's a $5.
A hell of a lot more than that. In Algarve, Dora, good morning to you. Dora Nunch is here in Algarve, only 1% up on the final sales price for 2024. Prices on the market are inflated by 20%. I mean, feel free to join us one of these days, Dora. Lovely to see you here this morning.
Hi,
or think of Spain instead. Just cross the border a lot cheaper.
No, their taxes.
No, Mr. S. Tell him.
Veronica, that's what my video is. Their taxes are higher. Your contributions. Talk to your CPA. Don't just say, "Oh, I looked at some properties on Idealist and they're cheaper." No, in addition to that, they're talking about 100% tax for second homes for foreigners.
So the list price might attract you, but when you factor it all in, maybe
taxes,
not.
Fees, the cost annually, your property taxes as well as your income taxes.
There you go. And Dora, loving your commentary. On the contrary, au contraire, we have some owners reducing. That's why you need to know the agent. Yeah, you need to know the agents on the ground who can connect you with an opportunity of that kind. There may be some cheap properties with fantastic views of the night sky near you. Then, that's the ones that have lost their roofs. That's naughty, Peter. Too soon, Pete. Too soon. He can't resist it, can he?
Probably not with solar panels on them, right?
I was wondering last night about solar panels. It seems to have hit mainly trees, but there are a lot of solar panels in this country. And I was just thinking, my goodness, hope they're strapped down. A pal in a nearby village reports that 4 houses lost their roofs. We'll hear more stories like this as the day progresses, I suspect. Tony, do you think it's over, though, in terms of the weather effect? We're just dealing with the aftermath now. Do let me know what your commentary is on that. Market price here in central Portugal is definitely on the up. There seems to be far more properties up for sale and being than I've seen since coming here. Sold. Okay, we get the gist there. We need the lady with the tray of goodies back at the cinema. You do, don't you? The lady walking about with the ice creams, maybe some cigarettes. No, not cigarettes anymore. As Peter suggested.
A hot dog like at Dodger Stadium in LA.
Did you ever go to the cinema when people smoked, Veronica? It was unbelievable in there.
California has not allowed smoking for so many years. I think they were the beginning. In fact, the old town I used to live in, San Luis Obispo County, they were the first city to actually make a ban on smoking indoors at all. And then last I was there, they were banning smoking anywhere outdoors, and they did do it where a non-smoker would be. And this was like 10 years ago. So I had a friend that visit with me in California on a little trip, and she smoked occasionally, and she goes, America's not free. Like, you're not allowed to smoke anywhere, because I took her first time in California. She's like, you can't drink outside, you can't smoke, you can't you can drink outside just in a bar, not on the street.
Wow. A report from Paul here as well. Good morning to you, Paul. Trees down and no power in many areas, but the wind has now dropped in West Central, which makes it sound so cool, doesn't it? West Central of Portugal. This is not California. That's amazing. And Dora, if you want to get in touch with her, is with Engel and Volkers down there, I think.
Hi, Dora. Which one are you at? There's a new Engel and Volkers, and I met the estate agent, Mrs. Lauber, because I have a friend, Sylvia Lauber, from back home, so I can remember her last name. And she's so delightful. They're in Tavira, and then they moved here just a few days a week. But but we go back to we're not timing the market. I just gave an update to say don't time it because people keep saying it's going to go down. It's going to go down. Every year we have heard that for how many years? 2 years ago, I think, Carl, we were saying a blogger came on and said, oh, the property market's going to tank. And people held off and it went up 30% over 2 months. And it just annihilated people that had a plan and had the place they wanted. So you negotiate down with people, but we're seeing properties come up. And if they're priced right, they go quick. And here's where, to Dora's point, you need an agent that knows, like, this is what the pricing is. This is how long it's been for sale. This is what we can offer. But I've also had people say, we're going to wait, and it's gone. They've lost it. We had a new development in town go up, and there was one unit, and I've had a lot of clients come in this month. It has been a ton, but these are people who are moving here that have been planning for 3 years, so 2 or 3 years. They've sold their house. It's taken them time to get here. So they're arriving now. And they were like, oh, we like this new development in town. The last one, their agent was so pushy. You have to buy it. It scared them away. But to that point, it was gone that day. It was gone that day. So, and then that, I think there was one baby one left. Those were the big, beautiful terrace ones. One baby one left somewhere in the building, and the developer increased it 50,000 just because he thought someone might buy it because the rest are. So it's crazy. It's really important you get an agent that has your best interest in mind. You have to have an attorney who sends out a surveyor. I just picked up another property in Castermarim, because that, I think, is a really undervalued market. I think Castermarim, I'm kind of swaying people away from this town because it's gotten very overpriced and we're getting too many expats. We don't want to change the dynamics of town. But Castermarim is just north of me, and there's a little castle. There's a fort. I was still able to find, it was just a 1-bedroom, and it was 150,000 in an old in the old town, and it had been completely rehabbed. So the owners had made their money on one that they rehabbed upstairs. The bottom one, they were just kind of selling it because they were developers. So I'm watching the market, and I just snagged it.
Well done. Finding some good value there. Castellmarin is make a note of that if you're thinking of that part of the country. You mentioned agents with your best interests at heart. Let's bring another one onto the screen. See what I did there? Good morning to you, Carl Hyde. How are you? How is the well, you're not directly on the Herdad. I heard from Bobby this morning. We're 30 or 40 trees down over at Arrowera. How is it looking where you are? You've got a lot of trees near you as well, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not very bad. I mean, I've got the forest behind, which I've not looked at. I've got the forest in front. There are no down trees on the forest in front, which I'm surprised about, because it's those marine pines, the really thin, spindly ones.
Yeah.
But I've just took the kids to school. Part of my fence is blown away on the front.
Oh, no.
I was a little late because of that. I had to run down the street to retrieve 2 pieces of my green paneling.
Well done.
A few of the trees nearby have lost a lot of sort of mid-sized branches, but none have fallen. I did see a rather large trampoline on the roadside near the kids' school. Also.
And you brought it home. And so that when the kids get home, they've got a nice new trampoline. Nice one, Dad.
I was going to say, if that was in England, that would have been gone by now. There we go. It's...
There'll be someone sleeping under it. Right? Oh dear. Now, your intro was going to be, he's from Manchester and he'll be old enough to remember smoking in the cinema. Do you? Because we've been talking about cinemas and smoking. Do you remember that, Carl, back in the day?
Oh, I've not got a specific memory of it, but I mean, I was a smoker until I was up until 25 years old. So,
I was going to ask you, yeah. So you'd probably had a smoke on the train in the cinema.
I remember smoking bars. That was perfectly normal,
Yeah.
On the train.
Yeah, in England it's crazy. Like on the underground, people used to smoke on the underground, on buses, on the train, in the cinema.
Wasn't the smoking on the underground stopped when they had the fire at
King's Cross? Yeah, absolutely.
That's my thinking. Fires.
Yeah, well, for years it went on, and some of my teachers used to smoke in class.
In class?
Yes. We had one teacher, and his nickname was Mr. Cudden, and we used to call him Smoking Joe Cudden. And he had film style looks, and I think I had him in mind as like a sort of Second World War hero because he had fantastic silver brill creamed hair, and he was an English teacher and a writer, and he used to smoke at the front of the room. And one day, one of the kids in the class also lit up a cigarette, and no, he didn't know that a kid was smoking in the class because he was smoking himself. Happy days!
Perfect. What a great time to be alive.
What a great time to survive. No, but what I was also thinking about was our cinemas, Veronica. I don't know if you had a picture at an Odeon or whatever, Gaumont in Manchester like this, but the Circle, a lot of them are concert halls now, aren't they? So you have the stalls at the front of the stage, and then you'd have a balcony. And if you upgraded and went into the balcony, if you had a box of Maltesers, you could casually flick a Malteser out of your lap level. And it would just go, it would fly through the air, and then someone down in the stalls would go, "Hey!" like this.
You've got to get it warm first.
Yeah.
You've got fodder for all the movie producers back in LA now. They're like, "Oh, hey, let's do a movie where people are throwing cigarettes at each other."
But with the smoke-filled atmosphere, you'd see these objects flying up in their trajectory. It's like a mortar bombing of the people down at the front. Anyway. You didn't come here to talk about that. How's the property market in Lisbon, Carl?
Hot. It's hot. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I was just reading an article this morning on the Portugal News. I think it was. It was talking about the recent price increases. And yeah, the market is moving, and in some places it's sort of a bit of a jolt upwards kind of thing, But overall, the pictures, prices are going up. The result of a lot of stuff, I guess, interest rates coming down, government incentives for young people or people under 35 and under to get their foot on the ladder. So,
it's been a great bit of legislation, isn't it? That's been a really good move.
Yeah, absolutely. They should have done it a long time ago. But I guess it's got that kind of negative effect of in sort of introducing a lot of new people to the market. People that perhaps couldn't afford it because of those taxes are suddenly coming in, and that pushes prices up. So you can say, where is the saving kind of thing? But I mean, it is a good thing. I mean,
Well, you have to get the younger people into the market. They can't rent forever. They've just got to get in, and they do push it up. And that's the way all the markets work, is that then pushes the higher ones. So then you can move up, right? You can then sell it when you've got bigger one. It's important.
It is good for young people. I don't know why it doesn't apply to everybody. If you've never bought a home before,
Yeah, first time buyers. It could be first time buyers, couldn't it?
Especially for people who are born here, Portuguese nationals.
Yeah.
Why I've got a client right now he's 35. He's going to be 36 in like 4 months, and he's going to scramble because there's a significant amount of money on the table for him if he doesn't buy. So, I feel a bit discriminated against. Like, what's the difference? I've saved. He's saved. He's worked hard, and there's this cut-off point. So why should there be that? It should be allowed to own a home and have that sort of incentive, that advantage of buying one at any age.
Yeah, but those younger ones don't think that way. So if it's like, we need to buy one before we're 35, now he's feeling rushed. But why didn't he buy before he was 35? There's no incentive. So to get them into the market, so they're not renting forever, and you don't have this huge renting mentality, because I know a lot of Europeans don't buy at all this age and this younger demographic. Friends from Berlin are like, why would you buy? You just rent. It's cheaper to rent than buy. You're like, no, but it's not.
Germany's a very different mentality when it comes to the majority. I think rent import in Germany, it's normal to rent. I know what you're saying. I just mean that if you're 40 years old and you're on the cusp of buying, you're being penalised, whereas somebody who's 5 years younger isn't, and you're in the same position. You've worked hard, you've saved hard, and it's going to be your first home. Why shouldn't you get the same benefit? I know it's important for young people, but home ownership should be for everybody.
Maybe we can have a Bali style situation. There's an opportunity for Portuguese toy boys here, isn't there, who are 35 and under, to get together with a foreign buyer, and they get the mortgage. It's going to be like Bali here, isn't it? No, it's not one of my best ideas.
I had some sort of, I was going to say some things, but even for this show, it could be.
All right, okay, fair enough. Save it for the main.
Yeah, I'm just hanging back with my coffee and shutting up. You got me shutting up. That's a big deal.
But I will be launching my Portuguese toy boy agency later on this afternoon. What a brilliant idea. Okay. Stand by for that. I mean, I say toy boys, like 35 and under. Right. Okay. Mr. Hyde, he never mentions 150,000 pound properties. He's a 1.5 million kind of guy. And that's where I saw you last, Carl. And I'll play a little bit of a video of that wonderful house we met at in Lorignan as our outro today, because it was wonderful. Club Tropicana video came to mind. A house, a wonderful home built around the pool with suites overlooking the countryside and a wooded area. It was superb. That and other properties the agency specialise in. Anything that comes to mind that you want to tell us about?
I don't know. I've got no specific property today. I mean, to be honest with you, the most of the last month I've spent out on the road looking for properties for people, specifically in Lisbon and in Cascais. But the one you mentioned there that's for sale with Dirta, my colleague on the Silver Coast, fantastic property, a family home, but also somewhere where if you've got that dream of running an Airbnb,
yes, you could do that.
Or having a supplemented income, let's say, then I mean it's a great spot. You know more about the area than I do, but you're not
really
far.
Great location. Yeah.
I mean, I remember I sort of drove over the hill there as I came to the open days about 2 weeks ago, and I was surprised at how close the ocean was to it. And then you've got the great views of the countryside, that fantastic pool area. So
Lorignan is one to watch as well. It's a great little town, known for its dinosaur park. It's really great. And then now a Lego center there as well, or Legos, as you would say, Veronica. Lovely place to look. If you're finding that other parts of the Silver Coast are getting a little bit overheated. Talking of areas of the country, I mean, we really are talking about Lisbon and the Algarve here with our experts in those places. Frank Nibley asking, any insights on Porto and the northern Portugal market? Have you got colleagues or friends who could have told you about that, for example, Veronica?
Porto's hot. Porto's hot also. Porto is hot. It's like, again, looking at a map of California and saying, should I live in San Francisco or LA or San Diego or, Monterey or all of these coastal areas are hot. They all have great things to offer. You can go inland or you can go to the towns that are unknown between them. And that's where you find your values. Like if you can retire and, you don't have to be in the hub where everybody's working. You can go into it. Carl, you had some great properties just south of Lisbon, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're concentrated. We quite a lot in Porto, although that's not my market, so that's not my area of specialism. But certainly in Lisbon and Cascais, and then moving across as well into sort of where I am, Margem Sul. I'd like to expand more around here. Actually, get more properties because this is a bit of a hot spot. Moving across all the way to Setúbal. I think that was in the
great.
Yeah, the article I was reading today. Setúbal was one of those areas that's seen a big spike in prices, and I think you'll get this around all the major cities like Porto, any of the sort of smaller cities that are within, 20 minutes, half an hour, maybe more of that. Then these are the places that are gonna see those 15% year-on-year rises because, of course, as always happens, you get that concentration in the centre, Porto, Lisbon, wherever it may be, and then it kind of radiates outwards as the prices go up and things become less affordable. People are looking for bargains, or
Well, and the thing is, as you spread out, they will eventually connect. I'm seeing Tavira connect to Cabanas, connect to, unless you've got something between them, it's unfortunate. It's urban sprawl. I don't personally like it. But unless you've got something like a preserve or a forest or something between it, and thank goodness between Orange County and San Diego, there was the military base. So they weren't going to convert that. So you actually get some stretches of, sand and ocean. But any little nook anywhere along that coastline went up in value. So you know, you need to, especially Carl, there was one you were talking about once, and it was south, or maybe it was with one of the clients I sent you. It was fabulous. It was like 7 or 8 bedrooms, and it was just south of the Tagus, and it wasn't too far from the bridge. And it was just such a great deal compared to just a little bit further up north. And it's like, well, if you can take the train into the city, why do you need to be in the city? That's going to cost more.
I think more and more people realize that. I mean, I do. Well, some people kind of debate me on it. If I do an Instagram video and I'll say, "Hey, we're in Arawaira. It's 20 minutes from Lisbon Centre," I get loads of hate. Telling me it's not possible.
It's like, what?
You're saying you don't know what you're talking about. You're lying. Yeah, maybe at 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, no. I actually did a video. I drove from my house into Marquês de Pombal in Lisbon Centre, and I did it in 19 minutes.
There you go.
So what the point of that is, it is really close. Yeah. So you've got all that on your doorstep. You can jump in an Uber on a Saturday evening, and it's going to cost you 18, 19 euros to get into Lisbon Centre. But you're here by the beaches, and the infrastructure is just as good as anywhere else in the country. You know,
absolutely.
Trains that shoot straight in. They don't stop for traffic. It's great.
Well, you know, there's talk now of, I think there's a tunnel planned between.
Is that right?
Yeah. They're talking about extending the metro line all the way through into Caparica. So currently it runs from Cacilhas up to like Pregal train station, which is the station used to cross the bridge. So I know it's being extended around. And then I hear talk. I've not looked into it, but I've heard a few people saying there's talk of a tunnel to connect.
It's inevitable. It's inevitable, isn't it? And I, you know, that south of the river thing is a psychological problem, not a distance one, isn't it? That's the real problem. It's like that in a lot of cities around the world, isn't it? So London's very similar to that, right? Sometimes the comments go really weird, and that is one of those mornings, everybody. So let's work our way through these in the last few minutes that we've got. Going back to your comment about Spain and the 100% tax, not for EU residents, apparently. So I guess that
no, it's if it's your second home, and now it's just talk, so they don't know every last detail of it. But once the bill passes, I would say look closely at it, and if your intent is to buy there and to resale in the future, that could limit how many people could purchase. And because of Brexit and the British being some of the largest population that purchases here in the, you know, Andalusian Peninsula, if your intent is to resell, if you're just going to buy it and you're going to live here and this is it until you fly off wherever you fly off to in the heavens, then you're fine. But if you need to look at resell or your heirs or something like that, you need to just be aware.
You know, sometimes, Veronica, when people have already made their mind up, Mr. S is on his way to Spain. I think Mr. S stands for Spain, Mr. Spain.
Oh, Mr. Spain. Okay. And Spain's a beautiful country. It's great. Yeah. It's wonderful. But
it's not as good as Portugal. And we'll have this out with flipping Michael Heron ongoingly. Really? I mean, go to Spain if you want to go to Spain. What are you doing here on Good Morning Portugal? Go and watch Michael Heron's program. Cine Teatro in Algarve. I love you really, Mr. S. A beautiful building, 5 minutes walk from my house. I can go to multi-screen ones in Caldas area, but I actually prefer it. Yeah, the little indie cinemas are fantastic, aren't they? Going back to California and its health policies, traditionally set precedents on health and environment. That's why you weren't able to smoke there. However, Pete, who's been in Japan recently, you could smoke in the hotels and cafes and restaurants. Everything tastes better with a hint of Marlboro Lights. Yes, for you, Pete, but not for the rest of us who have to sit near you, you smelly bugger. Right, okay. Marlboro, it's the worst whiff, isn't it? It's nearly as bad as French cigarettes. So much like real estate in California, just bigger price tags there. When I saw housing prices in Villa Rio de San Antonio, same as here in Albufeira, I thought, what? Says Laura. We've got your profile up on the Portugal Club there, Laura. Thanks for doing that.
Villa Real de Santo Antonio is the river and the beach and a protected beach, only 2 hotels. So we don't have the mass tourism. You can't even compare it because Albufeira is like Las Vegas. You're comparing a little city, like little country village, to the fun party zone that everybody flies into for the weekend and has fun. We still go there and party, but we leave. You don't live there, you visit
what goes on in Albufeira stays in Albufeira, thankfully. Was it Lee McGrady who put those panels up?
Well, I can tell you a story. So at the back end of the summer last year, somebody came careering round the corner just 50 meters up from my house, lost control of the car and drove into my garden wall and destroyed a large part of it. So yeah, Lee we bought some green fence panels and riveted it to just to cover it over, because I intend to do a lot of work to the house at some point. So I've not got it rebuilt. So it was Lee McGrady that put them on. There were 2 of them, and they were about 50 meters down the road when I drove out.
Just an improvised repair. All right.
Doesn't their insurance have to pay for it, not you? Like they have to come.
They have paid for it. They've paid for it, but I'm going to hang back because I want to redo the entire wall, not just that part. So
maybe some reflectors instead of.
I think a security guard on there, maybe. I smoke during lessons. Look, Pete is a teacher. I smoke during lessons. Love Zoom. That's. I mean, surely the kids can see that, though, Pete. Yes, I had teachers who smoked in class. Smoked weed. That's Australia.
That's like California.
That's Australia. Yeah, it sounds like California. I haven't heard that trampoline for a long while. I had an old school one as a child in Singapore. What fun. Once stuck our cat in. See what I mean about how the comments sometimes go a bit weird? Once stuck our cat in.
Oh, I thought the cat exploded. I'm like, what?
Mummy.
There's some people you might need to block.
That's
no
right.
exploding cats.
And it's before Instagram and Facebook, so we're never going to see the video. When I was in junior school, the head. Are you all right for a couple more minutes, guys?
As long as you want to go on.
When I was in junior school, the headmaster, Mr. Lewis, looked like a fat Dracula and always had a cigar in his mouth. Legend. And when he gave me 6 of the best on my hand. Oh, you might want a puff of this, kid. Yeah, all right.
He gave him 6 cigarettes on his hand?
No, 6 of the best is when you get thrashed.
He hit him?
Yeah, Jackie got thrashed on the hand, though. Only the hand, not the backside. Yes, when I was caned, Veronica, I got caned on the backside.
You got caned? Where did you go to school in the 20s?
Yeah. No, my teachers were trained in the 20s, but I went to school in the 80s, the 1980s I had, not the 1880s. Yeah, never did me any harm.
You in our schools. Maybe that's why you guys are proper.
Oh, no, where we're from. No, me and Carl, I think I can speak for both of us. If we'd gone home and complained about being caned, we'd have got some more, wouldn't we, Carl?
I'm not that old, Carl, unfortunately. It'd been outlawed by the time I was in school. So
really? Softy Mancunians. Oh my God. Our geography teacher had a tweed jacket and a pipe he used to smoke. Stereotypal. What? Yes, tweed jackets. Geography teacher. Bob's here. Bob only smokes when he's on fire. Do you smoke?
I got that one.
Do you know what?
I do remember having a drunk teacher once. We had a standing substitute teacher. And it was for geography class. And he was drunk as a skunk. He really was.
Really? And,
they got the entire class in the morning after, I remember. We're like, what's going on here? And they're like, you don't need to tell your parents about this.
Really?
Really?
It's our special secret. Kids, if any teacher ever says this is our special secret, tell your parents immediately.
Yes.
Tell them. Tell everybody.
Yes.
Maybe you can get on Instagram and show them.
Yes, I take it you know Vitor Costa as well, Frank. Good to see you here this morning. I'm a heavy smoker, but I feel awkward smoking outside my home. Did the geography teacher have elbow patches? Well, they needed, and another corduroy jacket. Mrs. M always used to call me a geography teacher when I had my brown corduroy jacket on. Old school trampoline was just a big tire inner tube, overinflated, and it's a death trap. Wrapped in canvas strapping. Who doesn't like some canvas strapping?
Anything that could get more dangerous.
And then you could get a beer and float down the river.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially now they're letting all the water out of the aquifers. Right. It's real fun to watch it.
Especially when you're only 7. The government owns 30% of the cigarette manufacturers. Oh, was that in Japan? Okay. If you couldn't afford a trampoline, you had a trampette, which isn't a female tramp. Very good. Dad joke.
Trampette.
Right. I don't smoke normal. Okay.
You smoke abnormal?
I think we know what that means. She's on the jazz fags on the no, that means something different in America, doesn't it? The devil's lettuce, the wacky backy. Solar life. Only regret is I got turning down a job in Japan doing stick and pin tattooing. I wish I'd done it now, but maybe one day I will visit the country just to buy material and silk. Grab me a kimono while you're there. Porto isn't north. It's the top end of central. Oh, a northerner speaks. That's what like real northerners say about places like Sheffield, isn't it? In UK, North Portugal are the regions north of Porto. Thank you for that correction there. JMC Bom Dia Rapaziada. Oh, and I think we've gone into a whole load of tattoo talk. Good morning, mountain man Carl. Yes, I ran up the Salir sand dune. Nice to see you and your lovely family. Nice to see you. Nice to see the north, but nice to be back in the Algarve, even in the rain. Our nearest coastal resort is under an hour away from me, as a spectacular huge beach that could hold most of the population of Portugal.
Oh, where is that?
Yeah, which is your nearest there? Are you going to
Gary? That's not the other Gary that just moved.
He's not telling anyone.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, even though there's loads of room there.
Let's do a show, Carl and Carl's. Let's do a show on the best hidden places where they do want expats, right? Not trying to keep it hidden for other people, but hidden places that you could make a difference by bringing in people like Castro Marin, because there's a lot of places that could be rehabbed and most of the kids have left. So it's an older population, but it's an amazing town between Castle
Let's do
and
it.
Port.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Some great places that you could improve by moving.
Yeah. On that note, I have been put in touch with a consultant who's working with the mayor of Caldash, who wants to reach out to expats. I think there's going to be more of this.
Yeah, so, let's do that.
Yeah, let's extend all of that into one special. I think 6 of the best. Yeah, that's a damn good thrashing. You boy. Yes, I think.
I thought he was saying 6 of the best cities.
Well, yeah, caning was used in our schools too for girls and boys. Savage, isn't it?
Unbelievable.
Albufeira, I don't know if these two comments are connected. Albufeira is known for having naked English males dancing in the middle of town. Yes. Okay. Can I
dress like chickens and ducks and weird? Y'all like to dress up. That's just weird. Sorry.
Can I get a job doing that or not? No.
Probably.
Okay. Is this connected though? Speed bumps. If you
mentioned earlier.
If you dance fast, maybe. Okay. Oh, I see. Right. Okay. So not connected.
I'd rather have a shotgun, to be honest with you, for when they do finally crash. Because it's happened several times. There's been a few crashes outside my house. So
you've had enough, haven't you? You've gone on Michael Douglas about it. Many times people out here have told me that Estrangeiros are always welcome and they actively encourage you to come. Some places even have financial incentives to live there.
Yeah. That's better than going to the places that are having rent issues. Don't move in the center where people need rent and housing. Move to places you can improve.
Yep.
Which Carl has a list of.
We've gone off on a corporal punishment tangent here. People with memories of the paddle as well. Oh, my goodness. Okay, yes, the paddle was in the principal's office. Never did us any harm. Did it? Look at us. We're all such a well-adjusted bunch of people. All right, he says, laughing maniacally there. We don't want any more here. What is he? Is Pete drawing up the drawbridge? We don't want any more
Moving
here.
Strangers.
Yeah, we'll have to do a special about foreigners who turn their backs on other foreigners as well, won't we? We don't like to see that. We don't
close the door behind you, kick people
out. Honestly.
You know what? We're joking, but you do actually see a lot of that, don't you? If you go on Facebook, there's a lot of virtue signaling going on, and I've got to say, shut up.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
Be
nice. How did you get here?
Yes. Yeah. Right. Exactly. And now Porto belongs to Central. Fantastic. Okay. Well, we bet as much as we can have fun talking and having fun this morning, we need to bring this show to a close. Last word from you, Carl.
I don't know. Stay inside, avoid the weather. I don't know if this storm is carrying on or not. I thought it was a 48-hour thing. It actually looks pretty decent outside my house today, but take it easy on the roads, I guess, if there's trees falling down and stuff like that.
Nice one. Nice public service announcement. And I thought you could say, if I ever get my hands on you, I'll kill you, to the person who crashed into your fence. Right. And Veronica, did you ever get a chin shaking in California? Is this a special Californian punishment? A good chin shaking? I don't know.
If anyone touched me, you go home and tell your parents and they'd put you in jail. Like you don't touch, you don't hurt people. You don't.
They put the kid in
as
jail.
a
Or they
person
put
in
the,
authority that you can hit people. You just don't. You go to jail. It's called
just to
assault.
clarify, the
Assault.
teacher goes to jail, not the child.
Yes.
Thanks for clearing that
Now
up.
your parents are going to ask you, "What did you do?" Have them. So, a couple quick plugs before I escape. Same stuff we always say that I said earlier. Don't time the market.
Yep.
Don't go to places that you're taking advantages of. Be a help, not a hindrance. Blah blah blah. Same stuff. Watch the replay. New article in the East Algarve magazine.
Oh, very nice.
Our
East
Templars and a
Algarve.
great. So this year we've had 3 Templars articles. So you can look at the
Nice.
eastalgarvemag.com to see some of those articles. And then we're having a new Lions Club in the East Algarve, and that's starting this April 10th or April 8th is a new meeting. And fundraiser for the ABC Dance School. One of the youngsters, Thomas, age 10, got a scholarship to the Berlin Dance School for a couple of weeks.
Ooh.
However, they don't pay for like lodging, hotels, food, all that, and getting him over there. So we're doing a fundraiser for him. If you want any information on that, info@americaninportugal.com.
That is lovely. Well done to Thomas, and good luck to you in your dancing career, Thomas, going over to Berlin from the Algarve. Gizmo wants to say goodbye as well. Is that right?
Yeah,
Gizmo.
well, he's asking me to go out, so
Hi, Gizmo.
Daddy, the wind's stopped now. Let's go out for a walk. Very good. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you tonight for the funnily enough, that's very good timing. Pet transportation webinar at 7:30, and then the Dream Team Town Hall at 9 until 10. See you then, or see you in the morning. Take care. Bye for now. Thanks, guys. Bye for now. Well, this looks all right, doesn't it? We're in Lourinhã, which I think is an amazing location, and something's happening over in this part of Portugal. Obviously, we're at the high end here today, at the invitation of the agency. Look at this, a viewing of this fabulous property here. These are suites that you can stay at in this incredible location. I'll show you the view that they have in a moment. But isn't that beautiful? Very nice indeed. Barbecue area over there. And as I swing around here, that's looking out to sea now, over in that direction. And then look, they have this view. That's a yoga deck down there, possibly. And a valley here where you could install a vineyard. And I believe I'm going to pop down there in just a moment, but beyond this gentleman on the yoga deck here, there's a little gate, and that takes you down to the beachfront and the ocean, which is just beyond the trees over there. But isn't that lovely? Isn't that incredible? The rooms are really wonderful. They're all open out onto the pool here. Very, very nice. Oh, there's an upper deck up there as well. Thank you, the agency and Dorta, who invited us here today to take a look. But it's a little bit too cold today to jump in and cause a bit of a splash, as it were, here. Isn't that nice?